Hey guys, it's Mrs. Chenoweth again, and I wanted to just review some things with you before we start our preview unit on probability. First thing that I want to talk about is there's different tools that we talk about when we talk about probability. You see often flipping a coin. Well, coin, right? Any coin, it can be a quarter, a penny, a nickel, a dime, whatever, has two sides. It has heads and tails, right? So that's a tool that comes up in probability quite often is our coin. Another one that comes up quite a lot is dice, right? If you have two of them, they are called dice. If you have one of them, they are called a die, but us school teachers think that sounds awful sometimes, so we call them number cubes, right? It's a cube, so therefore it has six sides. So they come in all different shapes, sizes, and colors. I just pulled some out of the board games that we have. Some of them have numbers on them. Some of them, like this one, has bananas and paw prints and palm trees on it. So that's from a game that we like to play here in our house. These come up quite often when we talk about probability. So does a spinner, and spinners come up in games. You might recognize this one from a Game of Life. It's Game of Life Junior, actually. And it has the 6 different numbers on it. But spinners can be lots of different things, different numbers, different colors. Think about the game of Twister. It has 4 different colors on it. Things like that. And then a big one that comes up that is most often misunderstood with students is playing cards. Okay? Playing cards come in all different sizes and colors and shapes and things like this. This happens to be my favorite deck of cards. This is my M&M cards. And I think it's fun when you get to the face cards. Oh, where's one? There we go. Face cards, they have M&Ms on them. That's why they are face cards. And I find that most students don't know what is in a deck of cards. And when we do probability questions a lot, they often have deck of cards questions. And if you don't know how many are in a deck to start with, well, that's going to throw you off altogether. So there's some things that I want you to know about a deck of cards. First of all, how many are in the deck? There are 52 cards in a basic deck, and that is without the jokers. We take those out. Most card games that you play do not use the jokers in there. Some do, but most of them don't. So there are 52 cards in the entire deck. What you need to know is that there are 4 what we call suits. And you're like, what is she talking about? Well, the suits are the pictures on them. So here we have a 10 of diamonds. A diamond is a suit. Here we have the 10 of spades. It kind of looks like a shovel, so it's spades. The 4 of clubs, so that little 3-leaf clover is called a club. And last but not least, here I have the 8 of hearts, obviously. So we have the hearts. You will notice out of the 4 suits in our 52 cards, there are 2 colors. You can either have the black ones or the red. Again, some playing cards throw up the colors a little bit and change things up, but these are the basics. So half of them are black and half of them are red. So if you're keeping track of that, that means there are 26 black and 26 red cards. Out of that, then we break them down into what they are. So if we have 26 that are black, that means 13 of them are going to be the spades, right? And 13 of them are going to be the clubs, right? Same thing when you come over to the red cards. There are 13 hearts in total, and there are 13 diamonds in total. And that's something that I find most kids don't know. Some questions that come up is they talk about number cards, like the probability of getting a 10 out of a deck of cards. Well, there are 4 10s within there, one for each suit. So that would be 4 out of the 52 cards. And then, of course, we'd reduce that down as a fraction, and then we can change it into a percent. some things that come up quite often. They'll ask you about how many face cards there are. And by face cards, they mean cards with faces on them. Now, this deck's a little funky in the fact that it gives me aces with faces on them, but they're not considered face cards. The king is a face card, the queen is a face card, and the jack is a face card. Those are the traditional face cards. Aces are not face cards. And if you know some card games, you'll know that the ace can either be considered a 2 or a 1 rather, because there's no 1 in the deck. It goes 2 through 10 on the number cards. But the ace can be the lowest, which is 1, but it can also in some games be considered higher than a king. So it depends on the game that you are playing. But things that you need to know when it comes to probability is there a total of 52 cards, 4 suits, half of them are black, half of them are red. That means there's 26 because that's half of 52. 26 of them are black and 26 of them are red. And then 13 in each suit going from ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, jack, king, and queen. And my assignment for you today is to play a card game with somebody in your family. Or if you don't have anybody to play with, you can always teach yourself how to play solitaire. That is one of my favorite games to play when I am by myself. My dad always played a game of solitaire at breakfast every single morning. I don't know why, but he did, and I enjoyed watching him because I wanted to figure out whether I could win or not, and that's how I learned that game. And that's it. That's your homework for today, is to play a card game. Some of my favorites, if you don't know, if you have 2 people to play with, I like to play War. I think that's a fun game to play. I like to play a game called Spit and a similar one called Speed. When I had my knee surgery, I spent a lot of time playing card games with Landon because it was just the 2 of us and I was stuck in a chair and couldn't go anywhere. Remember some things to do when you are playing card games is to shuffle them, right? And that means that you are going to make them random because probability is all about the randomness of things. If you don't know how to shuffle cards, that might be something that you learn today. I wanted to show you something neat. We actually have a card shuffler in my house that Landon had built out of a kit that he had gotten. So I can put cards in either side. And, I got to turn it around so I can get the crank. And when I turn the crank, it will shuffle them. It takes a little bit out of each pile and put them. It's a little noisy, but it shuffles them in, and then I take out and I have my shuffled cards in here. That's kind of neat. Do me a favor, drop me an email about what card game you played today. Maybe I'll learn some new ones that I don't know, and just enjoy some time with your family. I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great day. Bye.